Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Cinema Bridges Worlds, live from Okinawa. I'm Jeffrey Rowe, actor, voice actor, producer, and co-founder of Mirus Pictures. And today is a special episode because I'm joined by someone whose work I deeply respect and who brings a perspective I think we all need now. Our last live stream attempt, well, it was a lesson in humility and laws of the internet, I suppose. But we're back. We're live, and I'm thrilled to have another shot at this conversation. So today, we're talking about three things that matter more than ever in the film world: authenticity in a world drowning in noise, cinema as a workshop of hope, and what the next 5 years of filmmaking really looks like. And we're going to explore all of that with someone who lives and breathes the craft. Sean, Mr. Nichols, thanks for being here. Great to have you back.
Hi, am I on?
You are on.
Oh, live. Well, hey, I only see the full fair better too. Okay. Yes, happy to be here for a very special episode of Bridges. What is it? What's the title?
Cinema
Cinema Bridge
Bridges Worlds, my
Bridges,
man.
Bridges the World. All right.
Bridges Worlds. Yeah. Yeah, tell the world about yourself. How about we start
Hey
there?
guys. So I'm living in Tokyo. So this is now live from Okinawa and Tokyo. And I've been working in the entertainment industry here in Japan probably since early 2000s in one shape or form. And it's been a long, strange trip, that's for sure. But I've been on both sides of the camera, um, important roles on some of the most classic Japanese TV programs of all time. And
Oh, yeah? Like
yeah,
what?
oh, you've never heard of it before. It's just this Ultraman guy. He's a
Ultraman guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
my
know him.
goodness.
He's saving the earth for 60 years.
That's incredible. So
Yes.
you're like a superhero.
Well, I don't know. I was never able to defeat anything myself. We always needed to have him to come in and save the
Okay.
day, but it was all good. Yeah. Um,
You got a little bit of help, did you,
exactly.
to save the day?
Exactly.
Well, I always thought that you might save the day, Sean. So I guess that's where we'll begin. I wanted to open up this conversation with something that really struck me. It's by this filmmaker and publicist that I've been following for some time, named Kelly McNeil Yellen. So I was reading this speech that she gave a few years back when
Mhm.
she won this authenticity award at the Indie Film Awards, and deep propaganda,
Mm.
right? Bones. What do you mean to you, filmmaker and a creator?
Authenticity. Well, it's a very hard attribute to come by these days. Um, but it's actually quite funny. I also used to work for YouTube,
Yeah.
and that was the main thing we would tell creators is as you build your audience,
Hmm.
be sure to stay to your authentic self. Don't try to be something you're not.
Hmm.
Do things that feel right to you and never do anything just to please some audience because there's so many people out there in the world, and YouTube reaches so many people that you're going to find your audience without
Yeah.
having to fake it, right?
Yeah.
So, and that kind of went by the wayside a little bit as
Really?
advertising poured into YouTube and people
Okay.
were saying, "Hey, I want you to vouch for this product and we'll pay you a lot of money." And
Okay.
so it's always this like balancing act between authenticity and being able to eat, right? So,
Got it.
everyone has to eat. But
Yeah.
but what happened over the years? I'm talking really early days here now. And over the
Hmm.
years, these budgets for advertising on YouTube went up and up and up. And now some of these YouTubers that were struggling to eat are now making hundreds of millions of dollars, and they have bank
Yeah,
accounts
we've all
that
seen that.
would put in the world. Interesting. If not, now they're a dilemma.
Oh,
YouTube
how
audiences
so?
are very fickle, right? And out and you know what the authentic you is as a creator, right? And
Yeah,
there there's possibility, and it does not seem right. Viewers will now leave. And this is something that with all the data that's out there,
yeah,
these creators, they're seeing this data day by day. And if they do something that causes them to lose audience, then oh my God, that's really the worst thing that can happen. So um, even the biggest creators out there, like even Mr. Beast, he's a data maniac, and he will do A/B testings of intros, of thumbnails, everything. And if he sees one way is getting a better
yeah,
viewership than another, he'll change it. And that's your real litmus test, is to see how is your audience reacting to what you're doing, because they'll tell you right away. And they won't tell you, but their actions will tell you, right?
yeah.
That's kind of cool. So authenticity, right?
That's
What does it mean?
yeah,
I mean, it really means just finding what that core attribute of your own heart and soul is, and not straying from that, and
yeah,
continuing to not straying no matter what happens. Because I think as you go out and continue to put yourself into the world, you will find your audience, and you will be much
agreed.
happier at the end of the day,
Yeah.
once you do that, right?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty powerful. I mean it lines up kind of what I've always been feeling about who I am and the approach that we have to take as filmmakers, as actors and creators. People can absolutely feel the difference between something that's made, with heart versus something that's completely engineered for like metrics or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think audiences today are starved really for something real? I kind of look at, all these films that are out there. Like
Yeah.
obviously I'm very focused on narrative stuff, not
Yeah.
not so much on unscripted related content. But you know, where do you see authenticity sort of missing or present in the industry right now in narrative type of content?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question, right? Because a lot of people go to the cinema these days to escape from reality, right? So when
Hmm.
you're trying to create this escapist platform, what does authenticity even mean when you're trying maybe to build something that's not authentic at all, so people can look at it and forget their day-to-day struggles, and all the crap that they go through. So, finding authenticity in that sometimes is a little bit hypocritical, right? You're on one hand, you're building this fantasy world that people can escape to, but the point
I
is,
mean,
as a
don't you feel
creator.
like,
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. No,
yep,
no,
keep
go.
going.
Oh,
No, I was just kind of looking at how the majority of let's say the mass audience out there who is looking at the uh, how do you easily describe uh, the dumbed down um, major titles that are often put out. I'm not, I know Ultraman and your superhero stuff is. I don't want to hurt your heart here, Sean, but
no, it's okay.
I feel
Hurt,
like
hurt me,
I feel
baby, hurt
like
me.
I feel like there's a certain type of content that, yeah, okay, people are going to go in there and they're going to be entertained, or, the potential is there for them to be entertained. And I suppose I am more on I want the art to leave an impression. I want the art to get people to feel something that makes them typically feel good,
Hmm.
as the type of films that we're making at Mirus Pictures. But don't you feel that that's sort of what I'm asking is, do you think people are starved for that type of story in going to the cinema versus, what we've seen over the course of the last like 20 years is the majority of the stories that are available inside of the theatrical experience um, is dumbed down stuff so it can kind of go across the board. They don't really care so deeply about these characters. Um, that they want to make it easy to get into the story and to get out of the story, and be a little bit entertained as opposed to making people fall in love with the characters and seeing them go through the struggles and whatever it is with which like real people.
Yeah.
What I
Yeah.
mean, like you and I can't identify and sort of resonate with a superhero. I mean, obviously, maybe you can, but
Right.
but can a regular person go into the cinema and feel like that could be me with a superhero film? And the
Okay.
answer is 99.9% of us, perhaps higher, um, cannot. That's kind of what I'm curious.
Okay. So quick question back at you then.
Yeah,
Does that mean that authenticity and entertainment are mutually exclusive? I mean, I think everything, every bit of content out there, it needs to have that baseline. It has to be entertaining, right? Or,
sure.
or why make it? You're not,
Mhm.
you need to create something that's going to compel someone to give you 2 hours, whatever, even better, 90 minutes of their
Yeah,
time
yeah.
and
Well,
come away feeling like
entertaining,
they've done.
inspiring, educational.
Yeah.
There has to be a key element of one of those three things, and if not all of them,
Right.
inside of the stories that we're telling.
So can authenticity exist with entertainment? And can it exist without it? Is my question back to you.
The the look at
And by the way, I
the
don't have
type
an
of
answer. I'm just
Yeah,
putting this out there for
throwing
discussion.
it out there. I feel like as I was mentioning, if the story um, can get the audience in there and make them feel like that could be me, it makes it easier for them to take it home and to get something from it.
Mhm.
Um, you're asking if that story just entertains, is that enough for um, the majority of the world? Uh, I would say that there's a lot of people who are fine with just having that experience.
Mhm.
But I feel like the type of films that go to the film festivals, that win the awards at major award shows and whatnot, are not those type of stories. They are the type of stories that people will talk about for years later as to how they might have been impacted by that character going through that thing, because maybe they were going through something like that, or somebody they know is going through something like that, or whatever. So it's like that human connection between the characters inside the story, and then you having lived it. I just feel like uh, the chance of these big budgeted type of films, which are completely um, putting us into new worlds, they have a hard time really doing that. I mean, we can all be very imaginative and turn our life into wizardry or whatnot for a little while, or to take ourselves into space. But that yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, there's a balance there that
Yeah,
we
and
all have to.
I think another thing is it depends on how you define authenticity, right? Because authenticity sort of needs to have an element of the creator as part of that, right? Authentic to what? And usually it's authentic to someone's self or to someone's style or to someone's being, I think. And I don't think just because something is not realistic, as in dwarves and elves, doesn't make it authentic to something, right? I think
Sure, yeah.
realistic and authentic are definitely different things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can keep something authentic to yourself and to you as an artist, yet still be completely unrealistic at the same time, and entertaining. And on top of that, it can all be entertaining too, right? So, um,
I mean, ultimately, making something authentic, ironically, it's usually the hard way, right?
yeah,
It's not simple to be
yeah,
able to express those things inside of narrative related stuff. I have Kelly wrote something else here. She said that choosing that hard way over the easy wrong is one of the most powerful things a person can do. That's independent filmmaking in a nutshell.
yeah,
Like our film Rules of Living, which Sean is one of our co-producers on behind me. It exists because we chose the hard right. We made a deeply human, bilingual, culturally specific film in Japan without waiting for permission.
yeah,
And I think the reason, uh, the whole conversation we're having today matters about this stuff. Let's go on to the next thing that I wanted
yeah.
to tell you
Okay.
something interesting that I read in the last couple of weeks, which probably will surprise you.
Oh, okay.
Um, you know, it was very unexpected for me, and that was a recent speech by Pope Leo XIV about cinema. Absolutely stunned me. One thing he said. When the magic light of cinema illuminates the darkness, it ignites the eyes of the soul. Now, I don't know if he wrote that or not, but I had to sit with that. It's one of the most poetic descriptions of filmmaking I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
When you hear something like that, the cinema ignites the eyes of the soul. What comes up for you?
I mean, yeah, I agree with him 1000%. And now I know I'm going to heaven too. So that's great. I was a little worried there for a second, but now thank God the Pope and I have the same opinion on this. But I feel extremely happy and weirdly, I don't know why proud, because that's not like I did anything, but that the Pope, who is maybe the most well-known person in the world, actually says some nice things about cinema. That's I don't think a Pope has ever
Yeah,
ventured into that realm before.
not
So
not that I'm aware of.
yeah, that's actually great.
Yeah,
So
that's beautiful, man.
maybe it's
One
time
other thing he
to
said, yeah, maybe it's time to go to church on Sundays.
maybe, yeah,
Um,
maybe we'll go to the Vatican. Let's go ignite some souls.
yeah, the eyes of those souls.
Yes.
He said, I have another interesting line here. He's got a
Yes, not
bunch.
igniting souls. Igniting souls is that's what happens in the other
That's
way.
that's the
Yes,
opposite side, I
yes,
think.
exactly.
Another interesting line he wrote here that I thought you might like is that cinema is a workshop of hope, a place where people rediscover meaning. I absolutely love stuff like that.
Yeah.
It frames filmmaking almost like it's an act of service, not spectacle. You know, do you feel that
Yeah.
film still has the power to give people hope today?
Oh, hell yeah. That's what I mean, everything I've ever been a part of, I hope that it reaches somebody on some level and gives them some kind of hope to do something. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
geez, that,
That's
obviously
something
I
you
didn't,
think like modern
oh,
audiences
hell
still
yeah.
still look for in film.
I do not claim any invention over Ultraman at all, but I will admit to being brainwashed that he is there as the friend of justice and of Earth to, to show people that, in if you keep true to your heart and you do the right thing the right way all the time, you will win. And that's kind of what that's the message he's supposed to send to children. And you could see this is a funny story, and I'm probably people at Tsuburaya, the people who made Ultraman, are going to be pissed that I
Yeah.
say this, but some of the series in Ultraman
Yeah.
have veered away from that. And every
Oh,
time they do that, because they want to be, oh, let's be a little more edgy, let's be a little darker.
Okay.
Let's do a bad Ultraman. It never, ever, ever goes over well with the audience. So
Oh,
so even though these audiences are separated by,
what
or
kind
sorry,
of they get feedback in the viewership numbers,
yeah,
or it's like
it's
there's
everything.
platforms,
Hits
there's
them right.
fandom places, and they talk about it, and
Yeah, hits them right in the pocketbook because no one buys the toys and no one watches the show and people are complaining all the time. And
got
yeah,
it.
but I mean, everyone loves Ultraman to a certain point, but they're like,
Yeah.
no, what have you done to my Ultraman? These kind of things. You just kind of comment.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to say which series those are, but people who
Uh,
know will know what I'm talking about. And
sure.
and
I hope it wasn't your series.
no,
Um,
in fact, my series came right on the heels of one of those. And
okay.
they did a huge about face to be like, oh, we got to get back to what made Ultraman
Okay.
popular to
Yeah.
begin with. So we were, sort of like, let's recreate the very first Ultraman series. I was on
Okay.
the 40th year of
Okay.
Ultraman. And now we're in the
Yeah. Yeah.
60th. So
Yeah.
20 years ago is when I did this.
Wow.
But so we went back to have more fun, have more positive message for kids, get them back on the side of like Ultraman as being a hero and trying to be like the shining light of of goodness and of justice in the
Okay.
universe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. Ultimately, the audience then is showing the creator of the Surabaya, I think you said is the name, uh,
Tsuburaya, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Surabaya of the maker, that their their decisions are impacted by the dollar that is spent on the product. But
Well, yeah, for
I get
sure.
what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel it's right there with how I'm looking at, the types of TV series and films that make people care.
Mm,
So the Pope also had another thing here I wanted to share with you,
mm,
is that good cinema does not exploit pain. It recognizes and explores it. So, the
mm,
films in the series that you and I are involved with, Rules of Living behind me here, Tokyo White's the project that we're going to be telling the world about here soon, a TV series that we're bringing to the world in the very near future, and other projects we're working on. They're not trying to exploit anything. They explore the humanity underneath it all. It actually connects directly to other things that I've been thinking about, and that's like, what's the truth about where our industry is headed. And I wanted to talk to you about that as well. One of the producer, director, filmmakers that I follow is this fellow in the United States called Whit Whitman. He's an independent filmmaker, and he is always sharing information with the world about what's happening in film and how he sees things, and to help people just be ready for what's happening. He's always brutally honest. So you know, he sent something out last week about what he thinks is going to happen here with the industry over the course of the next 5 years with the advent of AI coming in and taking pieces away of production and post and stuff like this. And he thinks that the industry isn't changing, but it's rather collapsing into a new shape. So
mm,
we're moving into this barbell-shaped world where big studio films are there on one end and micro studio films on the other, and the stuff that's being made in the middle, the traditional indie space, is actually kind of falling apart. He says that Hollywood will still exist, but it will no longer define the industry. It really feels like the micro studio films. There's just going to be so many filmmakers that are doing it by themselves or doing it literally with four or five other people. Like the whole film is being made by these people, um, actors included, that are making narrative features with really the tools are getting better and better every single day, every single year. So I was curious how you feel about stuff like that. Do you feel like,
Mm.
the collapse of the middle, the independent film is scary? Does that excite you? How do you look at these ever-changing times and
Mm.
opportunity or fear?
Well, I certainly don't have fear. Let's put it that way. I look at every new advance in technology, and of course technology has been advancing in this world for the last 100 years, right? This
Yeah,
isn't the first time we've had a new thing to take advantage of. But what this has done though is so for me, when I look at it, right? I
yeah,
mean, I have a basic sense of lighting and cinematography and editing, but I am not a pro and I cannot do this stuff myself.
yeah.
But what this allows me to do now is to using my own it's a different creative muscle because now the creative muscle you're making is about writing prompts for an AI to generate something.
Sure.
But this is on one hand, the naysayers will say, okay, you're going to make thousands of hours of AI slop, which I agree. But also, it's going to cause the stuff that's good to make to rise above and look even better than
Okay.
before. And the faster and more efficient you can bring that good stuff out to the world, I think the better for everybody.
Okay.
So I think the tools now, and in fact, let me give you a real life example of something that happened to me uh, earlier this week and
Yeah.
last week. So I
Yeah.
went to a this is brand new technology. Now this isn't for live action, but it's for animation, right?
Okay.
And right
Yeah.
now with AI, it's a lot easier to create animation than real life live action. Of course,
Okay.
it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
And in the Japan anime world right now, the anime studios are totally backlogged because anime has never been more popular in the world.
Yeah.
There's huge demand for it. Yet, if you want to create something new, any of the classic studios in Japan that are creating anime, it's a 3 to 4 year backlog of work.
Sure.
So there is nothing you can do right now to get anything you want made or to even start being made for 3 to 4 years. Okay.
Anything new?
Anything new, right? And what this technology does is it's called what they do is they call these things they're called the in-between. Okay. So essentially anime is made by making key art visuals, which
Yeah.
are scenes, well, let's call them beats within a scene, right? And they are not connected smoothly with each other, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what the real artists are doing is
Yeah.
they're creating these pieces of key art.
Yeah.
Once those pieces are finalized, then they send out what they call the in-between shots, which is instead of your hand going from here and the next key art is from here, they do the hand here, 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 here. And it
Yeah.
doesn't take as much, you don't have to be as great as an artist. You just have to be able to, properly replicate what's been done and create that sense of motion. But
Okay.
now this AI can do all of that for you.
All the
So
in-between stuff.
what would normally be a week-long process now becomes less than a day to create a
Oh,
scene.
cool. Yeah.
And these kinds of things are just going to help get these 3 to 4 year backlogs shrunk down to something more manageable.
Got it.
Um, but trust me, there's no industry. You and I know Japan is very slow, but there's no slower, more old fogey, get off of my lawn industry than the old-fashioned animators here.
That's
And
wild.
for them to start taking on these tools is going to take a while. But
Sure, sure, sure.
the people who do, suddenly they're going to be able to do 10 times more work, more output than the other ones. And then again, it's going to hit those other people right in their pocketbook. And I'm going to be
Yeah.
like, hey, look, if we want to output, we need to do this. Um,
Yeah.
and and that's just step one. You know,
Yeah.
eventually anime won't even need a pen to draw anymore. You'll just need prompts. You'll just tell people what to do. And
Sure.
then once we can get around that, you'll need people who are very skilled at writing prompts, and you'll need people who are very skilled at storytelling, and you'll need people who are very skilled at understanding motion, right? Because that's the thing about anime. That's what makes a good anime. You look at it and you're like, okay, this is real motion. This really looks like a person jumping or walking
Sure.
across the screen or sprinting.
Yeah.
So the people now will become more judges of what's good and what's bad,
Yeah.
not let the bad slop get out. So that's where I think it's
Let
going.
me uh let me ask your opinion on some of these roles
By the
here.
way, shout out to Comic-Kai. That's the company that I saw. So if you
Comic guy. Okay.
Comic-Kai, comics spelled KAMIK.ai. Check out their website.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
amazing.
Cool. One of the other things that Witt looks at is, what he feels is safe and what he feels is not safe over the course of the next 5 years. And that's a lot because of AI. And he feels that 60% to 80% of the editing is actually going to be done by AI. So there's
Mhm.
the editing industry could take a hit. Background actors are going to be almost completely eliminated
Mhm.
over between 2025 and 2030. As we discussed earlier, but these micro studios, there's going to be way smaller crews, and the workflows, as you're saying, with animation and with narrative, there's going to be much faster workflows. And then we know now we're seeing and we're hearing these creator-led studios that are exploding. I'm not sure if you say as these old-fashioned animators, it's going to take forever for them to be able to get used to this new technology, most likely. So the younger animators who are able to figure it out by themselves, who maybe are working in very junior positions inside of these big old animation studio companies, they might end up starting their own like creator-led kind of studio. Um,
Exactly.
and and now he's saying that fans are going to be replacing the gatekeepers. If you, and I'm sure that's a plug where we've discussed before is that the audience is uh, when you have your audience and you can create something, and then the people who love your stuff will see it really really quickly, and you'll be able to earn a living from those things. That changes the game. So I'm just
No,
curious if
no,
you.
the audience has always been the gatekeeper, to be
Oh
honest
yeah.
with you. It's just now,
No,
or
I
maybe
meant
now,
I
maybe
meant
before, it's a 3-year cycle, but now it's
yeah.
a 3-second cycle, you know? And
Sure.
and talking even more about this very thing you're talking about, check this out. This
Yeah.
is another company that I have seen recently.
Yeah.
They will show you a film, then, and it's AI created, okay? But just go with me for a second. Through analytics on your face and how you are either enjoying or not enjoying something, they will change the content of that movie on the fly based on how you are responding to that with AI. So we talked about 3 years versus 3 seconds. In the future,
Wow.
you just sit down in front of a TV that's watching your face, and it will know based on how you are reacting, whether you like what you're watching, and it will change it until it makes something that you like.
That is insane.
I mean, wrap your head around that for a second.
That is insane.
Yes.
I can't imagine it's just going to be as quick and seamless as you make it sound, but that's pretty
Well, no,
exciting and
right now it's
scary
not.
all
It's
all in
not,
once.
but it's at some point it will be. We're not, and we're a lot closer than you think.
Sure, sure, sure. So, what's your honest take on all this? AI in filmmaking, is it a threat? Is it a tool? Is it something in between?
I mean, I feel like it's a total tool, and whoever starts using these tools the quickest will win.
Sure.
Um, I think there may always be a place for someone to pull out a camera, crank in that film, and shoot something on film and put out a nice piece of work. But I hope that doesn't go away. I hope that still is able to stay. but I think there's going to be a whole new category of instantly created, and I'm not exaggerating, instantly, like instantly created content. Well, let's call it entertainment
Sure.
for you to consume.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's from 2030 and not from 2026. I uh, I also wanted to touch on something else that Wit is always talking about, and it's in the way that you bring your content out to the world.
Mm.
And specifically, I wanted to get your thoughts on film festivals. So, Whit thinks that most film festival awards they're what he calls ego currency. They're
Who
not
said that?
mark
Sorry, who said that?
Whit Whitman,
Oh, wait, oh yeah, got it. Yeah.
the
Of course.
independent filmmaker that I mentioned earlier. So he said they're ego currency and not market currency. That one stings a little bit, but this film here, we're winning awards at these international festivals, and but it's not the Sundances and the Cannes and the Berlinales and stuff like that. It's the smaller tier two and tier three festivals, if you will, which are great festivals, and they bring people together, and people who go there are absolute cinephiles and looking for real authentic stories. But the major festivals, they're basically, the top 10 to 16 festivals of the world. If you don't have a laurel from one of those festivals on your poster, as we can see here, we have winner at our world premiere at Sedona, and then we won some other festivals, and we're appearing at these other festivals. That's the type of laurel that we put on our poster in Japan, because international film festivals are really cool to be involved in. Here in Japan, people look at those and say, "Oh, that's great." But actually, for distribution and career pathways and stuff like that, if you don't have those major top tier laurels on your poster, then they don't care about those people. Just don't even basically look at your film. So you have to you have to find your own way. And I'm kind of curious, with you, Sean, do you think we're entering a world where audience connection matters more than festival validation?
Mm. Festival validation is nice. It's like Whitman, right? What he said of
Yeah,
it's ego stroking. It is a little bit of that too. But I still think there's a place for them. I mean, it's a place where people go to
to connect, right? Yeah,
experience these new films with other, yeah, and this is where I'm going.
yeah,
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's exactly what I was going to say. With other people in a room, and have a chance to discuss it, talk to the filmmaker, understand what they
yeah,
were thinking, what they were trying to
yeah,
express. Um, it's, whether you win or not, well, of course, it's always better to win, but being there and getting that chance to connect with the audience and getting some feedback from them. And again, we're getting back to this sort of this feedback loop again. But um, if you don't have like a massive distribution deal right up front and a massive marketing budget to go out and force feed the world uh, your product, then it's a really good way to get it out there, and
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it, like, look, I mean, I'm sorry to bring this up because I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but our movie that we're talking about right behind your shoulder there, Rules of Living,
Yeah.
has a really good comparison that just came out called Rental Family. Have you heard of
Oh,
that?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
but Brendan
I
Fraser's in it, and he comes to Japan. I don't know. Anyway, check it out. Go watch the trailer sometime. You'll see what. No, I'm joking. I know he's obviously seen it, but so essentially, if you break it down to what those two films are at the highest level, they're kind of the same. There's not a whole lot of difference between these two. I
Sure.
mean, of course, its characters are different and there's different reasons, but
Comedy, drama,
it's
foreigner come to
about
Japan.
you're gonna
Yeah.
laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna
Yep.
be in Japan,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have some sort of growth and self-awareness, new self-awareness that you didn't have before. That's That's the arc of both of these stories, right?
Yeah.
Totally different movie. Don't get me wrong; these are not copies of each other by any means, but those basic core common elements are the same. One of those
Feel
had
good
a $20
movies.
million marketing budget. One of
Yeah.
those had a $2,000 marketing budget. I don't know, I'm joking, but you see, and so now, you know, Rental Family didn't go to any festivals and win laurels and, get its recognition that way. It, it had the power to put it in your face and have everyone see it and be like, oh, I love Japan. So what I'm really hoping is that
It did both.
we can ride the coattails of that. Oh, did it win some awards or something?
Yeah, it's won a bunch of awards. It also
Ah,
debuted. It had its world premiere at TIFF in Toronto in
yeah,
September, and then it's
yeah,
it's
that's right.
basically been making its way around to various international film festivals in the last like 2.5, 3 months. They've won awards at a bunch of different festivals now over the course of that time. But in comparison, as you're saying, like you have the likes of a studio film, Rental Family, which is produced by my friend Shin Yamaguchi at Knock on Wood, incredible film company, and they have really
Hi,
been
Shane.
they've been really doing their best to tell stories that they can also take to the world, and it's so cool to see that Rental Family has been accepted by North American audiences the way that it has over the course of the last 2 weeks. So it's exciting that it will do a basically country by country, a staggered release here on out for the next 3 months, which I think is brilliant because they're able to as they get into the Oscars next year, they're going to be going from country to country, and it's just building, right? They've got millions of dollars in marketing and publicity that they put into it, and that's the difference. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars put into the publicity for Rules of Living, but you can't compare to the studio films when they're putting in millions of dollars into publicity. It's really such a big difference. But it is very exciting that that type of film, our type of film, the type of feel-good story that we want the world to see,
Mhm.
is getting out there. So, that's kind of, why I want uh filmmakers to know and to think, if you don't have a million dollar, multi-million dollar marketing budget to get your films put out there, you have to you have to build your community as Sean and I were talking about. You have to adapt quickly. You have to understand the cultural moment that we're living in. That's the kind of key. So I think, we're getting close to going way longer than we thought we would, but there's one
Yep.
final idea that I wanted to chat with you about today, and that's in regards to who we are as filmmakers here, and it's something that I read from this young fella who runs a an online, like he's a creator. He runs this channel called the School of Hard Knocks, and he asks all sorts of millionaires and billionaires, questions of how they got to where they are and stuff. And one of the most interesting things that I felt from this guy's content was when he was talking to some billionaires, and they said the most important thing is not the driving of the revenue and stuff like that. It's figuring out, where is your hidden leverage in this business. It's not, how do I sell my work? It's not how do I get more customers, but it's what advantage do I have that no one else can easily copy. And, questions like that, sort of hit me, extremely deeply. And I'm trying to think like, it forces you to look at your identity, your history, your worldview, your craft, like who you are, your brand, and stuff like that. You, Sean Nichols, if you look
Mm.
at your own work, your own career, what do you think your hidden leverage is? What do you uniquely bring to the table for the world to see?
I think what I strive to achieve, let's put it this way, whether I'm achieving or not, I'm not sure, but I think through 25 years in Japan, I've got a good insight into what's going on here, how to get shit done here. Sorry, are we allowed to cuss on this podcast or this live stream?
I'll have to beep you out in
Keep that
the
out, please. Get stuff done
fix it in post.
because not everyone can do it. There's people who come here and leave frustrated every day,
Sure,
right? And it's not because they're doing anything wrong or because we're doing something wrong here. It's because they're not taking the time to understand that there are other ways to do things.
sure,
Sometimes they take longer, sometimes they're shorter, but being able to take all the shortcuts and understand where the roadblocks are and
yeah,
how to get around them and know when they're coming and what to do to avoid them. That's sort of the special power that I think I have, and this is what I hope I can help bring something to Japan, or take even better, take something from Japan to the world, because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we know for a Japanese creator, there are so many roadblocks to getting there. And this is another podcast, so let's do another one
Yeah.
and
I would
and
I would
talk about those
define
roadblocks
I
for
would
Japanese
define
creators.
what you just expressed as cultural fluency. And after a lot of reflection, I feel like that is exactly where my leverage is as well. And that's why you and I are partnering on all these things. You know, it's not just the language, you know, it's although being able to understand Japanese and other languages, you know, it's the emotional fluency as well between the culture and
What
in
the
the
heck are you
East
doing?
and the West. You know, so being able to understand Japan from the inside and the West from the inside, being able to create stories that travel like in both directions. That's not something a Hollywood filmmaker can replicate overnight. You know, it's not something a Japanese studio can replicate either. You
Mm,
know, it's lived experience, and you know
totally.
that's basically become the entire foundation of Mirus Pictures. And I'm happy to have you along for the ride as well as some of our team. It's not something that anybody can go out and do. And so I'm just extremely grateful to have you a part of our team, man.
Yeah, man. Good deal. All right.
All right, Sean,
Well,
thank you.
thank
This has
you.
been an incredible conversation. I always appreciate your insight, your honesty. You bring a grounded human clarity to topics that can easily become abstract, you know, or even cynical sometimes. So to everyone watching, thank you
Cynical. Am I
for being
cynical?
here. Topics. The topics can absolutely be looked at in a cynical fashion. That's what I meant. So thanks for being here today. We talked about authenticity, hope, and the future of our industry, but the bigger picture is this: cinema is not dying. Cinema is evolving, and stories rooted in truth will always matter. If you want to support what we're building, watch Rules of Living on premium video on demand. Go to www.whop.com /Mirus-Pictures, MIRUS-PICTURES, or even Vimeo on demand has Rules of Living. You can just search for Rules of Living in there. Share it with someone who needs a story that has heart. And stay tuned because the Bridge community is coming soon.